Not working. It's okay. I'll switch it on. We will start with the prayer of Mangalacharanam. Om Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedāścha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Katribhyo Tvam Shrishibhyo Mahatbhyo Namo Gurubhya Sarvo Paplavarahita Prajnanakanaha Pratyagartho Brahmaivahamasmi Brahmaivahamasmi. Vedanta Vibhasakaya Brave Shantaya Sannyasine Nanavadi Nagendra Sanghatavaye Yogindra Vandyaya Cha Mohadvanta Divakaraya Bhagavat Pada Vidham Bibhrate Tasmai Bhākṣyakrite Namostu Satatam Purnaya Bodhatmane. Om. So Bhagavan Vedavyasa, as the master painter of this painting, he has already brought in front of us Duryodhana's psychology. Duryodhana, who is, because his heart is already rendered weak, since his intentions are unrighteous. A person who knows whatever he does is wrong, whether the world recognizes it or not, whether he is able to hide it from the world or not, whether he pretends and makes others believe that he is right, yet the person who knows that he is doing wrong already has the diffidence. He may borrow the false confidence, everything is okay and he is very confident, yet in the heart of hearts, he himself is aware. And therefore, Duryodhana, knowing well, Duryodhana is also someone who has learned under a very competent, able teacher like Drona. Though Drona today stands in the Kaurava army, yet, and there are other reasons why Drona also has to oblige Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. Yet the net result is even people as great as Drona and Bhishma also are in the Kaurava army today. So Duryodhana, he himself has learned from an able teacher, a great teacher like Dronacharya. So somewhere he has also heard the greatness of dharma. That is the reason why Bhishma and Drona also know the outcome of this battle, and they know it very well that the victory will be on the Pandavas' side. So now they do not bless Duryodhana by saying that you shall become victorious. But their only promise to Duryodhana is that they will fight the battle to the best of their ability till the last breath, till their last breath. That is the promise that Bhishma and Drona they have made. People like Bhishma and Drona, including Bhishma and Drona themselves, have made to Duryodhana. And so Duryodhana now displays his diffidence, his fear. And though he tries to cover it up, but it somehow manages to leak through the cracks between the words that he has spoken. And even before Duryodhana can talk more nonsense and cause more damage, Bhishma therefore blows his conch, which reverberates, which sounds like a roar of a lion. Following Bhishma, all the great men in the Kaurava army also blow their conches. The battle drums are beaten, the trumpets are blown. And the noise of the battle cries now fills the space. This is the picture that Bhagavan Vyasa, the author, has painted. And he brings in midst of that din and roar, arrives the chariot of white horses, a chariot that is drawn by white horses on which are riding Shri Krishna and Arjuna. This mahati syandane sthitau, and he uses the words that though everybody is in their chariots, which are all equipped with weapons and missiles, and powerful men riding on them, yet Vedavyasa does not miss this opportunity of saying something about Arjuna's chariot. And he says it is a syandane. Syandane means a chariot, that which moves. So vehicle, basically it's vehicle. Syandana, but traditionally it means the chariot. Mahati mahan syandanam. How is it? Mahat syandanam. It is a great chariot. So he distinguishes Arjuna's chariot from rest of the chariots. And that is because it was the chariot that was gifted by fire god to Arjuna for this particular battle. So it was Puja, Mahati. So Shankarananda and Madhusudana, they use the word Puja for that to translate, to explain the word, the great chariot. It was worshipful, not just admirable, but it was worshipful chariot. Shri Krishna and Arjuna arrive. Now, furthermore, tataḥ śhvetairhayairyukte, tataḥ śhvetairhayairyukte, mahati syandane sthitau, mahati syandane sthitau, mādhavaḥ pāṇḍavaśhchaiva, mādhavaḥ pāṇḍavaśhchaiva, divyau śhaṅkhau pradadhmatuḥ, divyau śhaṅkhau pradadhmatuḥ. Then Bhagavan Krishna Madhava. Madhava means the husband of Lakshmi. Ma is Lakshmi, not the Hindi Ma, like with the Hindi. Ma is Lakshmi. And Dhava means the husband. So Madhava means the husband of Lakshmi. Madhava arrives, syandane sthitau, and then what did they do? Divyau śhaṅkhau pradadhmatuḥ. They live their divine conscious. So by divine, it is meant to say that it is extra. The conscious that these Sri Krishna and Arjuna are wielding are extraordinary. Extraordinary. Not just special, but they are extraordinary. What is that? pāñchajanyaṁ hṛiṣhīkeśho, pāñchajanyaṁ hṛiṣhīkeśho, devadattaṁ dhanañjayaḥ, devadattaṁ dhanañjayaḥ, pauṇḍraṁ dadhmau mahā-śhaṅkhaṁ, pauṇḍraṁ dadhmau mahā-śhaṅkhaṁ, bhīma-karmā vṛikodaraḥ, bhīma-karmā vṛikodaraḥ. The names, and all of them had their names given to their conscious. This was the old Indian tradition. The weapons, etc., will also have their own names, distinguished names. It was not general. So it is not to say that Shri Krishna's conch. It is pāñchajanyaṁ. Like that, Arjuna's bow was called as gandiva. Bhagavan Shiva's bow is called as pinaka. Bhagavan Vishnu's bow is called as sharanga. Sharanga. That's why you have sharanga. Sharanga. It is not sharanga. It's sharanga. And rakar is half over there, not lukta. It is not, not unpronounced like English, how we have kapa. Shanga. Like that, even the conscious bore their own names. And that is, Shri Krishna's conch is pāñchajanya. Pāñchajanya means born out of the five. And Arjuna's conch is called as devadattaṁ, gifted by gods. Devadattaṁ. Dhanañjayaḥ. Arjuna's another epithet is given over here, and even those names which are used are just not synonyms, but they are carrying a special connotation in that context. So Dhananjaya is Arjuna's one of the names, epithets of Arjuna, and it means the one who has won or brought wealth. Dhanam, Jayam. Dhana. So Arjuna had created or brought immense wealth, and that's why one of his names is Dhananjaya. Okay? Dhananjaya. So what was the name of Arjuna's conch? Devadattaṁ. Then the third name that comes in front of us is the Bhima's conch, of Bhima's conch, and it is called as pauṇḍraṁ. Pauṇḍra is the name of his conch. Bhima is a mahā-śhaṅkhaṁ. It is a mahā-śhaṅkhaṁ, which means that its sound can be heard for miles together. For miles together. Since the army was so big, the signals also have to reach to the farthest end. So it cannot be like a small, sweet little sound. pauṇḍraṁ dadhmau mahā-śhaṅkhaṁ. Who is he who is blowing that mahā-śhaṅkhaṁ? Bhīma-karmā. Bhīma is here called as bhīma-karmā, the one who does, whose deeds are very fierce, tremendous. Bhīma-karmā vṛikodaraḥ, one with a jackal's stomach. It is said that Bhīma could digest even poison, because he was fed poison by Duryodhana, Dushasana right in their teenage. Because when they found that this boy, Bhīma, was of extraordinary strength, born with extraordinary strength, Duryodhana, right from that age, had developed animosity towards his cousins. And he knew that they could be my possible contenders to the throne. And if Bhīma, somebody like Bhīma was to be there on their side, the force would be formidable. And therefore, they had fed him poison, tied his hands and legs and thrown him in the river. And in spite of that, Bhīma comes out unscathed, unaffected. In fact, he returns back, blessed with even more power. Bhīma-karmā, that's why he's called vṛikodaraḥ, because he could digest even the poison. So he could digest anything. That's why he's vṛikodaraḥ. Vṛikodaraḥ does not mean that, with pot-bellied or anything. He could digest. He was... Even today, if vrika, it meant, it is said wolf or a jackal. But a few days ago, I was listening to this one documentary on hyenas. They say hyenas also have their digestive power, that the acid in their stomach is very, very powerful. They can digest anything. So from the same family or same kind of animals, Bhīma also had the same ability of digesting anything and any amount of food or even poison, and that's why he's called as vṛikodaraḥ. Furthermore, Ananta Vijayam Raja, Ananta Vijayam Raja, Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha, Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha, Nakula Sahadevascha, Nakula Sahadevascha, Sughoshamani Pushpakau, Sughoshamani Pushpakau, Raja Yudhishthira. Because he already was Abhishekta, though he has lost the kingdom, but he was Abhishekta even before as the king of Indraprastha. And it was snatched away, that kingdom was snatched away from him through treachery, through deceit by Duryodhana. But he is still Raja. So Raja Kunti Putraha, Yudhishthiraha, son of Kunti. So he over here, Vedavyasa wants to remind even the reader, or because it is Sanjaya talking to Dhritarashtra, he wants Dhritarashtra to be reminded of the injustice that he has done to this widow Kunti, and her son is now standing over there in that army. O blind king, do not forget the way you have treated the widow, the Zuman. And so her children, which means the eldest of them is Yudhishthira, and therefore this Kuntiputra Yudhishthira Raja, he blew his conch. And what is that? Ananta Vijaya. The name of that conch is Ananta Vijaya. Okay, I don't know if I should tell you this, but since it has come to the mind, I will share this particular incident with you. Maharaj once told that there was one couple, and so the wife was pregnant and with a baby in the stomach. So they used to have a dream, and in that dream, a person would say, I am Ananta Vijaya. So name of that child was already declared. The one who had arrived would tell that this I am Yudhishthira's conch. It used to say, I am Yudhishthira. Who Yudhishthira? Then they found out the name of conch is Ananta Vijaya. So when the child was born, the name of the child is Ananta Vijaya. Anyway. So Ananta Vijayam Raja, that has got nothing to do with the thing that we are doing. Ananta Vijayam Raja, Kuntiputro Yudhishthiraha, Nakula and Sahadeva, the youngest of the Pandavas, they also blew their conches, and Nakula's conch is Subhosha, and Sahadeva's conch is Manipushpaka. Name of that conch is Manipushpaka. Very beautiful names, all of them. Furthermore, Kashyascha Parameshvasaha, Kashyascha Parameshvasaha, Shikhandi cha Maharathaha, Shikhandi cha Maharathaha, Drishtadyumno Viratascha, Drishtadyumno Viratascha, Satyakishta Parachitaha, Satyakishta Parachitaha, Drupado Draupadeyascha, Drupado Draupadeyascha, Sarvashah Prithivipate, Sarvashah Prithivipate, Saubhadrashcha Mahabahu, Saubhadrashcha Mahabahu, Śhaṅkhau dadhmau prathak prathak, Śhaṅkhau dadhmau prathak prathak, Kashyascha Parameshvasaha, Shikhandi cha Maharathaha. Now talking about this Kashi Raja, whom even Duryodhana has praised as very valorous. So over here, Sanjaya again tells, Vyasa does not miss this point. Sanjaya tells not only her son, the people whom your son also has praised, though they stand in the enemy line. Over there, people like Kashiraj, who is the builder of the great bow, Shikhandi cha Maharatha, and Shikhandi, who though was born as a woman, but later on became a man through a boon, a blessing given by one Yaksha. Okay, one celestial being became a man. And today, in today's world, we know that this is also possible. Yes, Shikhandi cha Maharatha, Drishtadyumna Viratascha. So Drishtadyumna is the son of Drupada. Now Drishtadyumna is the captain, the commander in general of Pandava forces. This Drishtadyumna, Virat, the king Virat, then Satyaki. Satyaki was Shri Krishna's charioteer, but in the Pandava army today, Aparajitaha, who has never known defeat, who was never ever defeated. So Satyaki also has displayed his valor in various battles. Drupado Draupadeyascha. Draupadi's father is Drupada, and Draupadi's children, sons, are Draupadeyaha. Sarvashah Prithivipate. O king of earth, O lord of this earth, Sanjaya is addressing Dhritarashtra. Saubhadraha. Saubhadra is Abhimanyu, son of Subhadra, Arjuna's son. Mahabahu, who is indeed with mighty arms, though young boy, yet he is known to be Mahabahu. Śhaṅkhau, tataḥ, they all blew their conches. Thus, now from the Pāṇḍava army, also the conches were blown in response to the conches and the drums that were beaten in the Kaurava camp. But now there is something that happens which did not happen when the Kaurava army reverberated their sound, and it is a Saghosho dhartarashtraṇam, Saghosho dhartarashtraṇam, Hridayani vyadarayat, Hridayani vyadarayat, Nabhashcha prathavīṃ chaiva, Nabhashcha prathavīṃ chaiva, Tumulo vyanunadayan, Tumulo vyanunadayan. So this terrible sound that rose from the Pāṇḍava army now, of the conches and various other battle drums, etc. What happened? It filled the skies and the earth. It was reverberating through all directions, that sound, and it was so terrible that it Hridayani vyadarayat. It tore the hearts of Dhritarashtra's sons. How was Sanjaya able to see that? Because Sanjaya had the power of knowing, seeing what is happening, and also with Vyasa's blessing, he could even read what was going there in their minds. Atha vyavasthitan drishtva, atha vyavasthitan drishtva, pravritte shastra sampate, pravritte shastra sampate, dhanurudyamya pāṇḍavaḥ, dhanurudyamya pāṇḍavaḥ, atha vyavasthitan drishtva, dhritarashtraṁ kapidbhajaha. Arjuna is called as kapidbhaja over here, because the chariot, in order to identify which chariot is moving around, so just by looking at the flag which was there on the chariot, though you may not be able to see the people seated inside, you would know who is arriving or who is moving. Arjuna's flag had the sign of Hanuman, of a monkey. The flag had the sign of a monkey, and therefore Arjuna is called as Kapidbhaja. It's called as Kapidbhaja. So then, atha vyavasthitan drishtva, dhritarashtraṁ kapidbhajaha. So when Arjuna observed the sons of Dhritarashtra in their respective positions, pravritte shastra sampate, thus as the battle was announced, dhanurudyamya pāṇḍavaḥ, and then Arjuna with his bow raised, wielding his bow, udyamya pāṇḍavaḥ, hṛiṣhīkeśham tadavakyam, hṛiṣhīkeśham tadavakyam, idamahamaḥipate, idamahamaḥipate. O king of this earth, Sanjaya again addressing Dhritarashtra. He says, then Arjuna spoke this following sentence to Shri Krishna. And Shri Krishna over here, as he was called as Mādhavaḥ earlier, over here, Bhagavan Vedavyasa calls him hṛiṣhīkeśho. Though we are living in, now people say hṛiṣhīkeśho, but the original Sanskrit word is hṛiṣhīkeśho. It is not even hṛiṣhīkeśho, it is hṛiṣhīkeśho. Dirghayi. Hṛiṣhīkeśho. Hṛiṣhika means the indriyas. They are organs of action and organs of perception. They are called as hṛiṣhika. Tesham ishaha, the one who is the Lord, the controller of all the body-mind equipment, is hṛiṣhīkeśho. So Bhagavan, the one who is seated in everyone's heart, because of whom the eyes are able to function as eyes, the legs are able to function as legs, the ears are able to function as ears, so on and so forth. He is the Lord whose power pervades all these organs, making them function with their respective attributes. To this Lord Arjuna spoke. The one who is hṛiṣhīkeśho, to this hṛiṣhīkeśho Bhagavan, Arjuna spoke. What did Arjuna say? And this is, he says, as the battle was about to begin, because it has already been announced, the battle is declared open, but the attack is yet not launched from both the sides. It is declared. And there, Arjuna now says, Arjuna uvacha, senayorubhayor madhye, ratham sthapayamichyuta, yavadetan niriksheham, yodhukamanavasthitan, kairmaya sahayodhavyam, asmin ranasamudyame. Arjuna says, senayorubhayor madhye ratham sthapayami achyuto. O Achyuta. Another, now so far you have at least seen three epithets of Shri Krishna: Mādhavaḥ, hṛiṣhīkeśho, and now Achyuta. Achyuta means the one who never falls. That falls means the one who never fails, falls, degrades, or in whom there is no degeneration. Achyuta, all ever steady, unchanging. So by that, Sanjaya is already telling Dhritarashtra, look at the respect that Arjuna has for Shri Krishna. He means, O Shri Krishna, you are Achyuta. Then even the one on whose side you are, how can they ever fall? Or those who have surrendered themselves to you, how could they even fall? So they will not fall, they will not fail. So victory. So Arjuna's confidence is there in calling Shri Krishna as Achyuta. Not only that I believe in my righteousness, but for me, you being on my side is itself is enough to assure, this is my assurance of victory. You standing by me is my assurance. Hey Achyuta. But he says, Senayoho ubhayoho madhye ratham sthapa, and it is a command to Shri Krishna, because Shri Krishna is a charioteer today. And he says, Hey Achyuta, me ratham, take my chariot between the two armies. Ubhayoho madhye, right in the center of both the armies. Sthapaya and park in the sense, make the chariot stand over there between the two armies. Place my chariot between the two armies. So why do you want to take it there? Yavadetam niriksheham. Now let me also observe all of them. He already has seen Duryodhana, Dushasana, etc. All of them. But I want to see all of them together. Yavadetam niriksheham yodhukaman avasthitan. Those people who have come with the bold decision of fighting this battle. Yodhukaman, and they are desirous of fighting. I want to see such people who have assembled over here with the desire to fight. Yodhukaman avasthitan kairmaya sahayodhavyam. And who are these people who, knowing well that this is a battle that has to be fought with Arjuna? Arjuna does not say that they have, because he takes that responsibility of even protecting rest of the people. So he says that kairmaya sahayodhavyam, who are such people that who want to fight with me? Karna already had told that I will fight but not kill any of the other Pandavas except Arjuna. And Karna is not there on the battlefield today because Bhishma is still alive. Then who are the other people who still want to fight the battle with me? Yodhavyam asmin rana samudyame, on this onset of the war. Yodhyamanana veksheham. Yodhyamanana veksheham. Yaetetra samagataha. Yaetetra samagataha. Dhātrārashtrasya durbuddhehe. Dhātrārashtrasya durbuddhehe. Yuddhe priyachikirshavaha. Yuddhe priyachikirshavaha. I wish to see all those people. Yotsamanan aveksheham. I want to see. Aham avekshe. Who are? I want to see. Who are those people? Yotsamanan. Those who are there with the desire to fight, with an intention to fight the battle. Yaetetra samagataha, and they have gathered over there only for that sole reason of fighting. Nobody over here has gathered with an intention, let us go and be spectators, watch the battle, it would be nice. No, those who are present over here have only one intention, and that is that they want to fight the battle, depending upon on what side they are, on the side of righteousness, or are they siding the unrighteous because of various reasons. Each one of them had their own reasons. Bhishma Drona had their own reasons in spite of knowing they are on the unrighteous side. Other people had their own reasons. Some of them were threatened, some of them were allured, some of them were bribed to be there. Different reasons. But all said and done, all of them in a way now are doing things with an intention also for pleasing Duryodhana. Who is this Duryodhana? Durbuddhi. Durbuddhi means wicked, manipulative mind, distorted mind. Manipulative. Durbuddhi. Durbuddhi is not dull-witted. These manipulative, they are very, very skillful people, intelligent too. Now just imagine, think about the terrorists who are launching attacks on people who have nothing to do with them, killing them. For what reason? Durbuddhi. It is totally durbuddhi. Dhātarashtrasya durbuddhehe. So though they are what? They are intelligent, and it takes a great deal of intelligence to plan and execute those plans, their plans. So they are definitely very, very intelligent, but that intelligence is twisted. It is twisted, manipulative. Such mind is called as durbuddhi over here. So durbuddhi does not mean dull-witted. Okay. Who is that dull-witted? Son of Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya does not hesitate to say that. Though these words are spoken by Arjuna, he makes it he makes Dhritarashtra hear those words. Though it is late, because it is on the 10th day that the question was asked, and hence Sanjaya is telling him all in flashback. Maybe just with one hope that even now Dhritarashtra can say that stop the war. Stop. But Dhritarashtra also does not have that. He doesn't want it to stop. So, Dhritarashtrasya durbuddhehe yuddhe hṛiṣhīkeśho. I want to see all those people who have come over here today to please Duryodhana. Let me see. Sanjaya uvacha eva mukto hṛiṣhīkeśho gudakeshena bharata senayorubhayor madhye sthapayitva rathottamam bhīṣma-drona pramukhatah sarvesham cha mahī-kshitam uvacha pāṛtha-paṣyayitān samavetan kuruniti. Now, Arjuna has spoken and commanded Shri Krishna to take the chariot between the two armies. And Arjuna also now has spoken few words saying that I want to see the people who are desirous of fighting and pleasing Duryodhana, who is a very cunning, sly, manipulative, whose intelligence is twisted. Such a person. So now Sanjaya says, O Dhritarashtra, because he Bharata Kulotpanna, he is born in the lineage of Bharata, that's why he is Bharata. So, O Bharata, commanded thus by Gudakesha. Arjuna's one of the names is Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep. Gudaka means sleep. Gudaka means sleep. The one who has full control over his sleep is called as Gudakesha. Not the one who is controlled by sleep. Generally, people have got, I can sleep whenever I want. But their problem is, I cannot get up when I want. So sleep may be there at their command. But later on, they are at the command of the sleep control. So who is Arjuna is called as Gudakesha. So for a warrior, etc., this is indeed a great accomplishment. So commanded by Gudakesha, then Arjuna thus spoke, O hṛiṣhīkeśho. Now you understand the meaning of word hṛiṣhīkeśho. Hṛiṣhīkeśho means the Lord of the Indriyas. Bhagavan Shri Krishna drove the chariot in between the two armies. And then, where did he stop? It says, Bhīma-karmā pramukhtah sarveshaṁ mahī-śhaṅkhaṁ. In front of two people who were most important to Arjuna. Arjuna loved and was devoted to them. One is his grandfather, Bhishma, and the other one is his teacher, Drona. In front of them, Arjuna, you wanted to watch and you wanted to see who were those people who want to fight this battle. These are the people. Look at them. Bhishma and Drona, pramukhtah. And other kings also. So he could observe the rest of the people also right in the front line. Okay, Bhishma, Drona, pramukhtah. Okay, and he says, O Partha, Uvacha, Bhagavan Shri Krishna, what did he say? Uvacha, Partha, hey Partha, son of Pritha, Kunti, watch them, Pashya, look at them. Pashya, etan, samavetan, kuruniti. These are the people, Kauravas, look at them who have gathered. Tatra pashyat sthitan parthaha. Tatra pashyat sthitan parthaha. Pitrinnatha pitamahan. Pitrinnatha pitamahan. Acharyan matulan tatrin. Acharyan matulan tatrin. Putran pautran sakhins tataḥ. Putran pautran sakhins tataḥ. Śvashuran surdashchaiva. Śvashuran surdashchaiva. Senayorubhayorapi. Senayorubhayorapi. Then what does Arjuna see? Arjuna wants to see people on his side and the enemies. What does Arjuna want to see? He basically wants to see the people who are his enemies. Kairmaya sahayodhavyam asmin ranasamudyame. He has already said, I want to see the enemies. And Shri Krishna brings the chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona. And he says, now look at the people that you want to fight, Arjuna. And what does Arjuna see? He does not see enemies. Tatra pashyat, Arjuna saw. So, this is also past tense. So that means that Sanjaya is telling on the 10th day, this is what has happened. Otherwise, had it to be at the same time, he would have said, Arjuna is seeing. Arjuna saw. That means it is already in the past. Arjuna saw what? Tatra pashyat sthitan partha. Those who were there positioned in that army, Pitrun atha pitamahan. The parents, which means, people who were like parents to him, whom he loved, respected. Parents, pitamahan, grandfathers, teachers, Matulan means maternal uncles, Bhratrin, his brothers, Putran, his children, sons, Pautran, grandsons, and friends, Śvashuran, even his father-in-laws, Surdashchaiva, and well-wishers, people who loved him. Senayo, this is what he saw in both the armies. Arjuna wants to see enemies, but now he sees people whom he loves and adores. Arjuna comes with full confidence, and he has no doubt about his victory. It is not that Arjuna is faking some sort of, he's throwing a temper, what do they call this, temper or tantrum, because this is an excuse that he wants to go away from the battlefield. No, Arjuna was never ever afraid of any combat. He had complete confidence in his own skills and power. On top of it, today, he has confidence because he knows that he is right. And then he also has confidence because there is Bhagavan Shri Krishna Achyuta on his side. So for Arjuna, the possibility of losing the battle, of defeat, is not what causes Arjuna's to break down. So though all those possibilities, why Arjuna broke down, because the possible defeat is there, and that's why he gives up. Failure, the fear of failure. Arjuna does not have this fear of failure at all. All the factors of this failure are already eliminated for Arjuna. And yet, Arjuna breaks down. This is what we are going to see. Because now Arjuna wants to see enemies, and what he sees is people whom he loves. Tan samīkṣasa kaunteyaḥ, tan samīkṣasa kaunteyaḥ, sarvān bandhūn avasthitān, sarvān bandhūn avasthitān, kripaya paraya vishto, kripaya paraya vishto, vishidannidam abravīd, vishidannidam abravīd. Tan samīkṣa, having seen them, Sa Kaunteya, the son of Kunti, whom did he see? Sarvan bandhūn avasthitān, on both the side he now sees only people who are his own relatives. Sarvan bandhūn avasthitān, and then kripaya paraya vishtaha. Arjuna is overwhelmed, overcome by what? Kripa, a sense of compassion. Compassion is what makes us human beings. That is true. But if that compassion becomes an impediment in executing the duties, now that is in the wrong place. Have it in the right place. If you know, as parents, if you know that your son or your child is doing something wrong, then to chastise, to scold, to reprimand, there are various ways of doing it. You can do it very softly, very nicely too. But if your compassion, oh no, he will feel bad, that's why I will not tell him. So let him do whatever he does. Even if he's doing drugs, he will feel bad if I tell him not to do. Now that compassion is in the wrong place. In fact, even to chastise him is also out of compassion, so that he does not spoil his life. But if your compassion prevents you from executing your duty, then that compassion is in the wrong place. Now Arjuna has overcome with this kind of a compassion, which is misplaced. And therefore, kripaya paraya vishta, with a deep sense of that compassion, he is overwhelmed with that. And then, under that paraya vishta, avishtaha, as if it has possessed him. Avesha is there. You know what is avesha? Being possessed. Being possessed. Avishtaha. Vishya. And then oh, there is sorrow. Arjuna becomes sorrowful, filled with grief. Then idam abravit, thus Arjuna now thus spoke. What is it that Arjuna spoke? Because obviously the one to whom he will speak now is of course Shri Krishna. And that was good. That even in the time when one actually is being led into the wrong direction, and there you have your teacher to whom you can tell it, you're fortunate. Because once somebody had asked Maharajji that do we need to have a guru? Whether your guru is a brahmajnani or not is another thing. But should we not have somebody as a guru? That time Maharaj said that are you so unfortunate that you have nobody in this world who can tell you you are wrong when you are doing something wrong? क्या तुम इतने दुर्भागी हो कि तुम्हारा कान पकड़ के तुम्हारी गलती कोई बताने वाला भी नहीं है? इतने are you that unfortunate? Are you that abandoned that you have nobody in this world even to tell you? And if this is what one wants, that nobody should ever tell me that I may be wrong, then that means that person either considers himself to be sarvajna, omniscient, who can never do and say or think anything that is wrong, who can never make a mistake. So he is omniscient. Are you God itself that you can never make a mistake? Over here, we know that we are even able to tell God that what mistakes God has done. Look at your prayers and you will know, God, why did you give me this kind of a nose? Why did you give me this kind of children? And why did you give me? Why me? So it means that you are reminding God that you have made a mistake, do something to rectify it. Hey, over here, this person already thinks that he can never be wrong. And therefore, reprimanded by a teacher is indeed a good thing in life. Being reprimanded by a teacher is a good thing in life. All right. So what does Arjuna say? And so from here now Arjuna will express his grief. And when Shri Krishna's turn comes, we will see how Bhagwan now imparts that great knowledge which puts an end to all sorrow, grief completely. Let us see that as we proceed ahead. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shaṅkharam Shaṅkaracharyam Keshavam Bādarayanam Sutrabhāṣakritau Vande Bhagavattau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmiti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namo.